Estate Group, where we talk about real life, real people, and real estate. I got a special guest for you today, a top producing agent, number 3 last quarter for our company, over 118 agents. This guy is a monster. He's been raising his game ever since the day he's joined our team, our brokerage. Please welcome Mr. Mike Zahn. What's going on?
Hey, Z, how are you?
Thank you for coming in. You're a busy man. You're like killing it in real estate.
Having a great year.
You are, and it's just amazing. We were just looking at the numbers and your ability just to raise the bar for your business. And when you raise the bar for your business, you're also delivering a lot for your clients.
You are.
And your business has a nucleus of past clients, right? That's where you focus a lot of your time.
I do.
Yeah, you do. And like, what are some of the things that you do in order for, let's say there's agents out there that are watching us today. What is your recipe to be able to take your business where you're at? You'll be top 1% by the end of the year, which is amazing. I've seen your growth just like skyrocket. And a lot of it we talked about was consistency. But what would you tell agents that are struggling with their business or have their ups and their downs? What would you tell them?
Well, what I tell them is what you said is consistency. But first you have to decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
The most important part of your business is going to be your past clients.
Yes.
Because you need to keep in touch with them. You need to let them know that you're still out there. You need their recommendations. You need their referrals, their testimonials, whatever it might be. And so early on, what I did is after coming here, I set up a system to keep in touch with these clients. And I decided for myself, I didn't want it to be all one type of communication. So over the past couple of years, I've developed newsletters to contact them.
Yeah.
I've developed a weekender where I tell them what's going on during the week. I do emails directly to them. I text them. So they're hearing from me different ways.
Different mediums.
Yeah, it's not always the same way.
Yes. And I think oftentimes we want to systematize everything so much that we forget the human factor.
Right.
They want to hear from you. They want to get that text. They want to get that one-on-one from you. You've done an excellent job. I remember when you first put your first newsletter together.
Right.
And now it's just part of your system. And that's the key, I think, to the success of any business is having 4 key components, which is marketing, sales, systems, and of course leadership. They need your leadership to help them be able to achieve what they're looking for.
Correct.
And with thousands of agents out there, why not go to the person that has delivered for them in the past? And that's one of the things that you do is constantly just reach out to them just in case there's anyone within their circle that is looking for a great real estate agent that will deliver as promised, right?
And no matter how good your relationship is with people, you have no idea that they remember you or they don't. A good example, early on in my career, I had a client, one of my first clients, and I bought a home for her, or sold her home, bought her another home, and she was happy in that for years. I wasn't real good about keeping up with past clients, and I decided to start doing some more of that. And so I reached out to her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you called." She said, "I had my home listed with another agent. They've done a horrible job. And I couldn't find your number.
Yes.
And I'm just getting ready to cancel my listing on that. I want you to list my home."
Yes.
But she couldn't find my number. And
I think we take that for granted. We're thinking, well, they're going to find us. They know who I am.
They have my card.
Yeah,
they saved it. It's precious. Look at this precious card.
I'm sure they got it gold plated so they never forget. It's on the wall. It's on the refrigerator. But it's so important because, recommendations is so important, especially knowing that the person that they're choosing is going to deliver just puts us at ease as a consumer, right? Now I'm looking at it as a consumer. That's why most people, when they ask, let's say, hey, I'm having issues with my plumbing at home or my AC.
Right.
Most don't just look online. They ask people that they know and trust for their recommendations, right? And the same thing happens with real estate agents. So we have to be at the forefront of their mind so that when someone asks, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house, they'll say, well, you got to call Mike Zahn.
Right.
He delivered for me. I got all this equity in my house. I'm so glad I bought with him. This is the experience that I went through with Mike.
Right.
He handled everything for me. And look at, I've just positioned my family at a higher, point financially because of the decisions that I made.
That's right. And you have to remember, too, it's not always just your past clients that you have to do that with. I had an example. I had a client. You also have to get testimonials and reviews online,
Right.
and actively search those out from clients. I had a client 2 years ago, and she made a real eye-opening comment to me. She said, you first reached out to me, and I started researching different agents, and I researched you. I kept finding all of these great glowing
That's awesome.
recommendations and testimonials, and I thought, God, this can't possibly be real. And so I contacted you, and we've done business, and by God, everything that I read about you was true.
That's awesome. And so I hope you guys got that. I mean, testimonials, having someone rate and review you is so important.
It is.
Right? Because yes, you delivered for that person, but if others don't know what an excellent job you do,
Right.
then you're not doing your job as a marketer, right? And that's part of the thing. A lot of people are like, well, I don't spend money on marketing. I don't do this. I don't do that. And I think that's the wrong way to look at it. You have to invest into your own marketing so people know what you can deliver.
That's right.
And it's something that has worked magically for you. And it's not really magically, you're just putting it out there. All you did was put one of those lights. We have all these lights around us right now. And all you did was put that light directly on you and say, hey, I'm the person to deliver.
Right.
And your results are the byproduct of your commitment to that. And I think a lot of agents, and I wanted to get your take on this, I think a lot of agents that are newer to the business or haven't really got their foothold in the business, they spend a lot of time just trying to market to the masses, right?
Right.
To the people that don't know them, don't like them, and frankly don't care about them. Yet they're spending all this time, all this energy, when each one of us has a core nucleus, like a niche market, niche market, however you pronounce it, that we don't fully understand that can pay high returns if you just focus on that niche market, which is the people that know, like, and trust you. And people forget that.
It's a big country. Even a small percentage of this big country is going to give you a very good living.
It's a big city. Just go after the people that you know and that you like. And
if you can make 30 to 40 sales a year, you're living very well.
You are.
And that's not a lot of people.
That's not. And if you really think about it, I mean, we really break it down about what it is to live a very successful, financially, growing business. And it doesn't take many transactions. But you have to stay on top of it because there is this time where, we're not busy all day long. And when we are, it's like all day long. I don't think a lot of people find the medium. A lot of agents don't find the medium that there's a great way to be able to manage your time where you can focus on your business 100%, yet go home and focus on your family 100%,
right.
And then take the time to focus on yourself and just overall growth and expansion of everything we're working for. And it just takes a little bit of perspective, right? A little bit of a, like you worked out with Carla.
I did.
In her Fit in 12. You were one of her first, I'm going to say test. One of these tests, I don't want to say, dummy or anything, but
no,
what are these?
Hey,
these
if she
first
can
ones?
get me in shape, she can do it to anybody.
Right. But talk to me a little bit about what it's meant to you to bring, health and bringing yourself, mindset, skill set, physical health, as at the forefront of your business. Like, what do you think that's what got you to where you're at today?
I think it contributed.
Yeah.
I have to say I had a hard time wrapping my brain around how that connects.
Yeah.
Until I actually did it, and then I could see how it connected.
How would you say it connects?
A couple of ways. Number one, just in terms of the energy that you have. You have more consistent energy throughout the day. You don't ebb and flow so much when you're working out every morning. The other way that it affects it is, other than just the energy, I don't know how to describe it other than it gives you a sense of power.
Power.
Yes.
That's exactly it. Power. Awareness, right? And we talked about this. It feels good to have a business that works.
Right.
It feels great to have a marriage that works. You just celebrated your 35 years. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
But it feels good when your body's working for you.
It does.
It feels good when, just things start moving around. And it all comes down to the actions we decide to take. And we talked a little bit about this, the reps, right? The consistency of just showing up for every aspect of your life.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the reps, they seem like small things at any given moment.
Yeah.
But if you said this early on, if you do the reps and then you look back after a year, And it's like, holy shit, how
Yeah.
far did I come here?
How did I get here?
How did I get here? And every year I've been here, I've done that. I've come back, I've looked back on the year and go, holy shit, how did I get here? And it's just daily little things. If you ask me what was the one secret, I don't know that there's one secret.
There isn't.
Maybe the one secret is reps.
I think that's it. I think it is consistency. And I think a lot of, agents, just like anything else, we're looking for that secret. Hey, I'm going to jump from brokerage to brokerage because they have the secret that's going to allow me to, be able to achieve everything I wanted.
Right.
When it really just comes down to your daily actions, what almost seems meaningless.
Right.
Meaningless actions at the time, right? And I remember that epiphany came to me one time, and I said, what you do today over a lifetime,
Right.
there's not a lot of significance to that. But when you do it every day for a lifetime, it becomes your only significance.
That's right.
And that's exactly what it comes down to. And we have another podcast. Oh, this is it right here, where we do the daily reps, another version where I just have daily thoughts. And I recapped on that, where I said, like 5 years, I couldn't see where I'm at today.
Right.
I couldn't have imagined me being here, hosting top agents, leading a very strong and profitable. I was running the numbers today, Mike, by the way.
Yes.
In our market, we're like number one sales per agent.
I love
it.
it.
Which is unbelievable. This is something that I imagined many years ago.
It's not unbelievable to me.
When we have agents like you that continue to level up their game, it contributes to the overall vision.
Oh man, it's amazing to me when I first came here, I was hitting the top 10 and I thought, I can do this. And then the next quarter would get a little harder. The next quarter would get a little harder. And now to hit the top 10, you've got to sell at least double what I had to sell 2-3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And everybody's just leveling up their game.
And that's exactly it. Everyone is seeing something bigger for themselves.
Right.
And here's the thing. The way we position this is we set achievable targets within 90 days. Everyone talks about 10xing their results. I like that.
Right.
But before you can 10x anything, you have to be consistent in what you do.
Right.
And sometimes we're looking at 10xing when we don't have the systems, when we don't have the processes, we don't have the personnel. So we're like wanting this big target and goal, and we never achieve it. And all that does is it becomes counterproductive.
Right.
But if you're able to just set a target every 12 weeks, right, and say, okay, I need to push myself out of the limits and out of the comfort zone that I'm in now.
That's right.
And if I do that, I will be able to hit this 12-week target. And 12 weeks after 12 weeks,
after 12 weeks, and
and you've done that.
Yeah.
And now
The
your
key is
business looks radically different.
right. And the key is when you do it that way, you can look at that goal and you can say, oh, I can see myself doing that. I can believe that. If you set a goal that you go, yeah, I'm going to do this and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And in the back of your head, you're going,
Like,
no way.
There's no way.
Guess what? You're not going to be disappointed because you're not going to achieve it.
Yeah.
But if you set something that you can achieve and you believe you can achieve it, you'll do it.
Yeah, and you put a straight timeline, right? So it's setting the target where it's going to push you out of your current limitations, right? Your skill set, your mindset. It's going to push you outside of that, where it's going to force you to grow.
Right.
Right. So you do that, and then you give yourself a time frame of when you're going to accomplish it. Now there's a sense of urgency.
Yes.
And that's what creates
There is.
results. Intention, actions, and the date of when it's actually going to be accomplished.
That's right.
And
That's
you've done that. Like your numbers over the last 6 months have been just mind blowing. Just because, and here's the thing, you said something very interesting. You said, I did it twice. I'm gonna just do it all the time now.
That's right. Now that I know I can do it, why not? Right?
Why not? If you do it once, you can do it every time. It is
right.
duplicatable. I run into this a lot, Mike, where you built your business around what works for Mike.
Right.
And I think that's why it's working. And your business will always work for Mike.
Right.
And I think, a lot of agents are kind of lured by what works for somebody else.
Well, I think that's true. When I learned early on in this business, and I'm sure you've seen it too, what works for one agent doesn't necessarily work for another agent. We all have different personalities. We all have different strengths. We all have different abilities. You have to find, when we first started, we wasted a lot of money on systems and shiny objects and things that didn't work, and I called it tuition. You learn something. Yeah, you throw it against the wall, you see if it works, and that didn't work. There went, $1,000, whatever. But you learn, and you do this in a sustainable way, and eventually you learn that it has to be something that resonates with you. If you look at it and it doesn't feel like, oh, I don't think I could do that, well, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
it's
the
not
things
you.
that work for you.
That's right.
And what you've done is you continue to double down on what works for you. And I think that right there, guys, is like the recipe to your success. It's like find out what's worked for you and then just duplicate that process. But many times what I'll see is, as agents will create the results that they wanted, and then they'll start looking at what other agents are doing.
Right.
And they'll take the focus of what they were doing to go invest in this system, to go and grab this other process, to go do this, that, or the other. When that didn't work with them, for them, just duplicate what you've done that has showed you success. And many agents are different. Some are really good internet lead agents.
Right.
Some are referral-based agents. Some are great at open houses. Some are great at online marketing and emails and phone calls.
You have to find what you're great at.
Yes. And then just duplicate that.
And just keep doing it. And, right. And throw new things into the mix. Don't be afraid to do that. But it has to resonate with you, and you have to look at it and say, oh, I can see myself doing this. I can see this working for me.
Yeah, you always want to, add additional things that will supplement what you're doing.
Right.
But many times agents will stop what they're doing to go do something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll spend tens of thousands over here when most of your clients came from you just simply calling them. So like, why are you spending all your energy here? Now, if you continue to call and you continue to do the things that got you the results, and then you want to add this other thing, great.
Right.
But don't stop this.
Well, and exactly. Yeah. As you start making more money, invest in your business, invest in the systems, because even though different things work for different people, every agent, every business needs a foundation. You need to have people supporting you to do the marketing and things that you don't have time for to keep it going on a consistent basis. In my case, my newsletters, my mailing list, all my things that I do. I couldn't do it all myself and still run the business of what I'm doing.
And still have a family life, still have time for yourself where you're not stressed out of your mind. And this business
will eat you alive.
It will eat you, spit you, and step on you on the way out,
Yes, it will.
And we have to be aware of that. Short-term gain doesn't mean it's good for the long-term, expansion of your business. And it's about finding that power that you spoke about earlier.
Right.
You gain power by taking care of yourself. You gain power by reading the right books, listening to the right things, associating with the right people. You gain power by being connected at home and celebrating 35 years of marriage, having a great connection with your daughters. You gain power by all these things, taking care of your body. And it's like all that into your business. There's no way you will not succeed.
Right. Because you put that power into it. You put that intention into it, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, dude, I remember where like my focus was money. And I was stressed out of my mind, Mike. Like stressed out of my mind. I was stressed that I was losing my marriage with Carla. I was stressed that I wasn't taking care of myself properly.
Right.
I was just stressed about putting other people's wants before mine, and it's just like. It wasn't a life to live. And that's why I kept on going through this process of building it, burning it, building it, burning it, right? Building my relationship and then cutting its legs off. And then it's like...
then build the business, then cut its legs off. Work on the relationship, cut its legs off.
It was a dysfunctional, ugly cycle. And all I needed to do was become mindful of my actions.
Right. The hardest lesson I had to learn, my first 2 years in business, I feel like I worked 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
I joined right after the market crashed, and I was doing, God, I don't know how many $60,000 and $80,000 homes I sold the first couple of years.
You must have been in the luxury market because I was like in the 20, 30,000,
I sold a couple of those too. Then resold them for 120 years later.
Geez.
But
now they're like 200.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I had to learn to be able to say to a client, I'd like to go look at homes, they say, and I'd say, fine, I have this time available and this time available, which is better for you. But I take control of my life because they'll take whatever time you give them. They're not trying to be rude.
Yeah.
But if you say any time, they'll go, okay, any time.
Yeah.
Thursday night. Oh,
at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
You just have to learn to control things.
Well, you know that because you have that confidence within yourself now, right?
Right.
And you understand that you are the authority in the space. They came to you because you understand real estate. You can make the deal happen.
Right.
And sometimes we forget that as agents, and that's why we talk about marketing, sales systems, and leadership.
Okay.
Leadership is a key component to running a successful business.
Right.
And we don't see ourselves like that sometimes, just because there is so much competition that we're running around and not really putting everything in a process that works.
Right.
Afraid that they might go with someone else that's willing to show them a house at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And it's not that. It's about, hey, let's find it. Let's make a decision that's right for you. Not let's hastily look at this and rush through the process.
Sure.
But you take the time in order to educate your clients. The more educated they become, the better the process is for everyone, right?
And clients respect that.
Absolutely.
Clients respect that. The few that don't, you don't want for clients anyway.
Exactly. And that's been a great part of your growth too, is knowing who your client is, right?
Right.
It's not everyone really is your client. But understanding, hey, these are the clients that I want. These are the clients I want to serve
Right.
is huge.
It is.
And that
It is.
reduces stress too. It's like being in a bad relationship. It's like, dude, it's like,
Yeah, this is
stressful.
not working.
It's not working.
Yeah.
If it's not working, it's not working.
That's
Let's
right.
just call it for what it is. And having the courage to actually tell the other clients, the client saying, hey, this is not working.
Yeah.
But let me recommend you to somebody that might work for you.
Yeah.
That's knowing your power, and I absolutely love that. Mike, you've so what's next for you in your real estate business? I mean, what are the next steps for you? What are you seeing for yourself?
Well, one of the things that I did is I invested in some coaching. So the first time
Good
in
for
my
you.
life I've been doing that. Just getting started on that. But I think what's next on my life is to grow the business more than growing me. I think
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I feel confident and powerful enough to get everything done.
Yeah.
So, in talking with my business partner, Christy, we're going to be bringing in more agents.
Good.
We've always been a team of 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be bringing in 5 more agents over the next year.
Good for you.
And with that, as we bring in, earnings from those agents, we'll just be reinvesting that in the business. So we get an inside sales agent, a full-time transaction coordinator,
Fantastic.
and really build up the core of the business.
Yeah.
So we're strong.
That's great. And these are visions that now are obtainable. Like it's there. It's just a matter of time before it becomes.
2 years ago, if I was talking about adding agents, I'd be talking about, well, maybe we can try one.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I think you were talking about retiring, Mike. There's a couple conversations. You're like, I'm just getting started now. It becomes fun, right?
I may still retire.
I don't think you will. My personal
You always
opinion,
tell me that.
I don't think you will. You'll be like, all right, I'm going to retire. 2 weeks later, AZ, this didn't work
This
for me.
isn't working for me.
Because I see the passion and I see, what it brings to you.
Yeah.
And I think the conversations have shifted a little bit because I remember the first couple months you were like, that was a thought process, but now
Right.
it's like you're talking building and building for a long time, and all this time and effort that you've invested into your clients, into your business will continue to
Absolutely.
flourish into the future.
Absolutely. It just
So-
pays dividends.
Yeah. So Mike, what can your clients expect from you as you're going through a real estate transaction with them? And you can look into that camera right there. I mean, you
Okay.
could. But what do you think what do your clients expect from you? What can you give your clients?
The number one thing clients look for in a realtor is communication. And that's where most realtors fall down. And that's what they can count on from me. Every week I'm in touch with them about where they're at with their listing, what kind of activity we've had, what kind of showings we've had, where I see it going next week, the week after, any feedback I've been getting, that kind of thing. With buyers, they understand the purchase process.
Yeah.
Okay. Every one of our buyers, every one of our sellers gets 2 things. Number one, they get some information printed. Here's what to expect in the buying process. Here's what to expect in the selling process. So we just lay out the most common questions right up front.
Yes.
And it kind of sets the expectations as well. It's a good way to say, this is what the process is going to look like. The other thing that I do is I've got a buyer learning series and a seller learning series that I've done online, and it's both video and printed, and they get into an email, a drip email system where they're constantly getting, here's a tip for selling, here's a tip for buying, whatever it might be, so that they're constantly brought up to speed. They get questions about it. It opens conversations. But more than anything, what I'm looking to do is make a clear path forward, whether it's
Yes.
buying, selling, or investing. They know what to expect. They know what to expect from me. They know what to expect from the process.
Clear path forward. That is so powerful there. It's just simplifying the process.
Mhm.
Hey, you want this? Well, here are the simple steps to get there.
Right.
And one of them is trusting that you are the authority and you're going to bring them the best opportunities for them based on what they're looking for.
Right.
And, value is so important. You being able to continue to educate your clients is huge. But there's, value not only comes not just in price. I think that's the mistake a lot of agents make, right? They base the value on price when it really is about the experience.
Right.
And also what the house is going to bring to the end user, or selling their house, what opportunities in the future it's going to bring by actually making the sale.
Right.
And being able to remind our clients of that, of why they came to you in the first place, I think is crucial as well, right?
Right. I mean, people can get caught up in the weeds and not, they're so interested in getting the best deal, of getting the price they wanted. They forget what they're giving up. I just did a post on my business page about, I got an offer on a home I listed. We listed it Friday. We had an offer on Saturday. And this home has $140,000 in upgrades. It's cherry. And this guy went up to 525, which was what the other homes in the neighborhood were listed for, without these upgrades. My guy wanted 535. He wouldn't do it. The guy walked away from $140,000 in upgrades because he couldn't save that last $10,000. And you know what? He's going to regret it.
He is.
And when he's going to regret it is when he buys one of the cheaper homes and now starts forking out $150,000 to get the upgrades he could have bought for 10.
That's true. We get caught up in the numbers. We get caught up, what am I going to get on my investment, that we forget that investing in your family is part of that investment. It's not just financially. And I got that picture finally, Mike. Like on my previous house, I remember our backyard just needed to be updated, right? And I kept on thinking, well, I'm not going to invest in my backyard because I'm not going to get my investment back. Little did I realize I failed to invest in the memories I would have back there with my daughters, with my family, because it was just so dated that we didn't like going in the backyard. And I stopped myself from investing in my family because it may not make a return for me financially.
Right.
But I'm here for the memories of my daughters. I want them to have memories of their dad as I get older. And I finally pulled the trigger, and that was the best investment I ever made. Did I make my money back financially? No. But what I invested into my daughters will forever change our lives.
Worth a lot more than money.
Oh, yeah. It didn't matter at that point. The value was in the experience.
That's right. I always tell my clients my favorite part of real estate is watching them turn their house that I sell them into a home.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, because a home is where the memories are made. People say home is where the heart is. The heart is there because of the memories you're making.
Absolutely.
And that's where you have to invest in it. That's what you have to get people to see. You have to get them to see the vision.
I love it. See the vision. And I'm glad you're here, Mike. You joined our brokerage, I think right about 2 years ago. And I want to say, man, it's been an honor just witnessing your growth. And you live by what we preach here. And you'll actually run into some agents that are a little intimidated about AZ and Associates for some reason. What would you tell those agents that are sitting on the fence that just kind of keep skirting around? They know they like AZ and Associates. They know what we bring to the table, but yet skirt around. What would you tell those agents that are on the fence about joining AZ and Associates?
I would tell them if they do it, it's the best move they'll ever make. It's because you bring perspective onto the business. You bring training to the business. There's no other brokerage where you can get this level of training and support from the broker, period. I've never run into one. The availability of you and Carla and Jeanette for training is second to none. The mindset you have of incorporating family, life, business, fitness all together and seeing the big picture of how they all tie together, very unique. Come in, be ready to do the work, be ready to do the reps. It's not hard work, it's consistent work. And if you're able to be consistent, you can build the business with what you're given here.
I love that. It's not hard work, it's just consistent work. And that simple formula right there, I truly believe will get you the results you want. You've seen our different agents come through here and just tell you very similar things what Mike is saying. At the end of the day, it comes down to you. But I think with all small businesses, we all need those consultants. We all need those coaches that are constantly just talking about how to bring life to be a functional part of life, how to bring life as a functional part of life, right? It sounds like an oxymoron there, but it really is that simple. And sometimes I think we forget the details and the basics of what we must accomplish as men and women in this business, and what it means to show our family and an overall success for our future legacy of being able to do that on a consistent basis. Mike, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your expertise, sharing your insights. I know there's going to be several agents here that are going to be able to benefit from how you simplified it.
Good.
It's a simple process.
It is.
Do the work, reps, and consistency. So, Mike, thank you again. And thank you all for joining me for another episode of Badass Agents Podcast. And until the next time, we will talk to you soon.